Hey guys, welcome back to Kinfolk Farm. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Before we get this video started, I just want to say thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate your support. Love you guys to death, and let's get to the video. I just want to talk about today something that I've had on my mind for maybe a month or so. Easy things to grow down here in the South. We live out here in Midwest Georgia, close to Alabama, Columbus. We live in Meriwether County. But I want to talk to you guys about 3 easy things to grow if you live down here in the South, in my opinion. Well, we lived down here on our farm for about 8 years now, and we have planted a ton of different stuff. Figs, blueberries, blackberries, muscadines, plums, apples, you name it. As far as fruit goes, we've tried to plant it and tried to grow it. Well, in the 8 years of us being here, we've grown 3 different types of fruit that have been super easy to grow. Well, the first thing I think we should all grow out here in the South are these elderberries. We haven't done anything to these elderberries. We don't fertilize them, we don't water them, we don't do anything, and they're just massive. And we started out with 1 stick. It was maybe as big as my pinky, and it was about 16 inches long. Nice little root base on it. We planted it right in the middle. This has been here maybe 4 years. This is about 4 years of growth. Maybe 5, I lose track, but I want to say 4 to 5 years of growth. And it's just taken over. Now, some people may say it's invasive. I would probably say that because it don't stop spreading. I actually have to cut it. When I cut grass, I just keep a certain border on it. That way it doesn't grow any further out. But my gosh, look at it. Now we planted 1 here and it just took off. That's about, I would say that tallest is maybe 10 foot. It's about 10 foot. But they just put on the most amazing little flowers, and they smell, oh my gosh, they smell fantastic. And then they turn into these little berries. They're starting to do their change now. And then they'll turn into the little purple clusters of berries. Now we planted a stick here and a stick here. This one didn't do as well because of this giant tree that shades it out that I didn't even consider when I planted it. But it still grows. You see this big chunk of new growth here. It still just keeps growing. It's really awesome. Super easy to propagate. We cut them back in the winter down to the dirt, and you can take all these sticks, especially the new growth, put them in some dirt, keep them wet. They'll root out, and I have some others planted on the other side of the muscadines over here, but they're just super easy to grow. They're great for making syrups, wines, all sorts of different things. But honestly, I don't fool with them. I don't fool with them. My daughter is taking over these. These are basically hers now. She comes every year when they put on the purple clusters. She comes and harvests all of them, and she makes syrup and all that for her family, for my grandkids. She loves the elderberry. Number 2, I would say the easiest thing that I have found to grow down here in the South are these blackberries. These are thornless blackberries that we get from Ison's Nursery. Everything I'm going to talk about in this video comes from Ison's Nursery. They're right down here in Brooks, Georgia. You can check them out online. Awesome place to buy all your fruits, nuts, and berry plants. They're a huge help to us here at Kinfolk Farm. Blackberries, to me, are the second easiest thing that I've found to grow. These things are growing. This is the 2nd year. They're growing like crazy. They're putting on tons of new growth for next year. They're just absolutely huge. That one's about 7 foot tall. I have some that are 8, 9 foot tall. I'll prune them all down when it comes fall, winter. I'll prune them all down, keep them about 4 foot high, and then they'll turn out looking like this. They'll turn out looking like this. Now, the one thing we have done is we have mulched. We try to keep a nice layer of mulch down for the blackberries, and that helps retain some water. But we have not done anything to these plants as far as fertilizer, water. I haven't done anything. I pruned them back last winter just to keep them about 4 foot tall, and that was it. and they just grow super fast. They put on tons of fruit. Look at this. I just came out here and picked last night. This one's still got a little red to it, but I just came out here and picked last night. And I love these things. Now, I have two different types of blackberries. I have the Wichita, which are these 3 rows. We bought 60 of those. I wished I would have bought more. They are fantastic. They grow super fast. They put on tons of fruit. And it's big, big berries. And again, they are thornless. And once you start eating them, you can't stop. Now these are the Wichita. These are supposed to be a new variety called Ponca. Ponca. They're thornless as well. I bought 60 of them. Honestly, I don't like them quite as much. They're really good. I don't think they put on as big a berry as the Wichita, and they're not as sweet. And my wife has quite the sweet tooth. She likes the Wichita way better too. Look at this. Here's a couple of nice ones. Now, I didn't pick these last night. I got to come and pick some of these today, but they're just loaded down through here, and then we're just getting them to turn. They're just starting to turn colors. Like I say, I don't think they're quite as sweet a berry as the Wichita. I wish I'd have bought all Wichita. But this is only the 2nd year I've grown blackberries, and they've been, I don't know, I'm up in the air as far as easiest to grow. The one thing I think that makes them number 2 is you had to trellis them. I had to buy the T-post and the wire and the just to trellis them up and keep them standing up, because they all want to fall. These are not a viner, these are cane. Like you can see, these are a cane type plant. They just grow straight up, but as they get heavy, they'll fall. And so you have to keep them trellised or you won't be able to keep the grass mowed, and then they'll grow out into the grass. Awesome, easy to grow plants. Number 2, blackberries. I love them. This year, we will have irrigation on them. This winter, that's my new project this winter, is I'm going to run irrigation to all 6 rows, and hopefully we'll have bigger, better plants, especially for those Poncas. All right, well, the third easiest thing, in my opinion, to grow here in the South, which I'm a little biased, are the muscadine grapes. I love muscadine grapes. They're super easy to grow. Now, they do take a little work. I get tons of questions about fertilizing, watering, pruning, all different questions concerning muscadines. But they're really easy to grow. But what makes them my third on the list is the trellis, because they get super thick. This is only a 5-year plant, and they will get big. They will get really, really big, and they grow heavy. They load up on grapes. They just will load up on grapes. These are just now breaking bud. Look at that. They're just breaking bud right there. Nice. Excited to see that. That's the first I've seen. But they can get really heavy, so you need a trellis system. And now when you have a lot of grapes like this, it took a lot of money for all these T-posts, for all this wire, for all this irrigation, and for the plants. And it's time consuming. But I want to break this down into, you can just grow a few plants. My brother grows muscadines. I think he has like 8 plants, and he gets way more muscadines than he can eat in a year. And he freezes a bunch back. Matter of fact, I got a batch of wine I'm making for him right now from grapes that he froze last year. But muscadines are a must on anybody's property here in the South. If you could just grow a couple of plants on a small trellis system, you will have so many grapes in 3 years. In 3 years and after, you won't know what to do with all of them. I mean, it's just for a family, a small family, to have a few muscadine grapes on their property. It's just a no-brainer. As long as you prune them coming into spring. I prune mine in February. As long as you prune them coming into spring, I would honestly say you're going to have grapes. My brother has about 8 plants. He prunes his in February. I tell him how to do all this stuff, but he doesn't have irrigation, so he doesn't water his as well as I do. But he makes it a point to prune them in February, and he'll fertilize them occasionally. He doesn't have them on a strict fertilizing program as I do, but he will fertilize them a couple times coming into spring and summer, and he gets tons of grapes. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below about growing muscadines. I've learned a lot. I don't know everything, I promise you, but I've learned a lot over the last 6-7 years of growing these things. I've learned quite a lot. We get tons of grapes every single year. We'll be open this year for a U-pick, and I'm inviting all you guys to come out this year and enjoy the farm, pick some grapes, hang out with us here at Kinfolk Farm. We're gonna have a blast. I will be putting out the dates coming into September. I'll be putting out dates to let all you guys know when we're gonna be open. But I would highly recommend, if you had a small piece of property, even just getting 2 plants, that is 20 foot from here to here, 20 foot from here to here. That's 40 foot of grapes. You could have 40 foot of grapes. Let me show you. They're just breaking bud under there. But it will be a solid sheet. I mean, it will be an absolute solid cluster going all the way down this thing full of grapes. Lots of good jelly, wine, and just to sit out here and eat them. We eat them till we get sick every day because of such a short window on them. But we love muscadines, we love elderberries, we love blackberries. They're super easy to grow. If you guys have any questions, again, leave them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not a professional grower. I have to emphasize that every time because I'm definitely not. I'm still learning a lot. Like I say, I want to put irrigation on the blackberries. I didn't do that this year. I didn't even think of that. I just figured they grow in the wild. They should grow out here, which they did. They did good, but I think they would do better with water. The muscadines, I would recommend irrigation for sure with the muscadines, but I'm still learning all the time. Do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. Keep up with what we're doing out here. That way we can all learn together. Well, thank you guys again so much for checking out my video. I really, really appreciate it. Love you guys to death, and we'll see you on the next one.